So welcome everybody to our monthly open council meeting. Good to see everyone. Just some quick notes before we get started. This is a working council meeting, so we do have a tight agenda, though today's agenda is a little bit lighter than normal. Um, any comments and chats from membership, please do save them for the open forum piece of the meeting, which will come right after we finished updates and sharing any other information that everyone needs to know. So we'll make sure to set aside time for everyone to get their comments in and ask any questions. And then at the end of the meeting, we'll have an executive session that will be closed to members and just open to the council. And that is pretty much our starting notes. So we'll go ahead and get in. I know that we're starting a little bit late, thanks to, the wonderful technical issues that we face in this day and time. So before we get started, are there any agenda amendments? That's good. Okay. So like I said, it's a little bit lighter today, so we'll just be giving some updates and sharing some reflections on our recent event. So we don't have any decisions, we don't have any proposals right now that require discussion. So we're going to skip right to reporting. So any updates from the co-op? I don't know who would like to start. Elizabeth, would you like to start with your department updates?
Yeah, I feel like probably the biggest thing that I could report on might fall, in parts under the education and outreach bucket, but actually falls largely under the entire co-op area. But yes, we had a wonderful Nourish and Flourish dinner. Um, we felt like we were able to represent all three of the working groups and the research that was being done and presented on all three groups and had some wonderful engagement with the membership and the wider community. Shared a lot of food, built a lot of relationships, made a lot of friends. So it was really nice. And it was great to build that partnership or just strengthen that partnership even more with CCE and everyone there. And so that was a huge engagement activity. And it was also sort of a soft announcement of our intention to move into the space, into the pop-up space, um, and begin to build out a mini market, collective buying mini market. So that is the big news. We've also been looking at how to recruit recruit membership into that mini market buying club. So that's sort of what's driving the education and outreach at the moment is just how to recruit at least 40 members into that collective buying mini market.
You. So I think it's probably makes sense to just do to continue with the Nourish and Flourish recap because it's, right on target with what you're doing. So for those who don't know, we had our Nourish and Flourish dinner on Wednesday, September 25th. We were at the CCE pop-up shop, and it was an opportunity to kind of share what the working groups had been working on over the course of the summer. And we had an incredible turnout, like Elizabeth said, lots of food. It was a super fun kind of just being with each other in that space. And there was a lot of really great presentations from the working groups. So I thought it was super fun. It was really great to see people I hadn't seen before that I maybe I'd emailed with or that I kind of heard about through the grapevine. So I think we had a lot of people show up who were very curious and excited to hear what we're working on. So yeah, that was kind of my recap. Kendall, I know you couldn't make it, but I know you heard about it. Is there anything else you'd like to kind of share?
I don't know. I heard really good things. I heard it was a really great turnout, and from the people who did go, it sounded like it was really engaging, and that people were really interested in all the work that's been going on the co-op side. So it's really exciting to get back out in the community in that way and be able to share everything we've been working on over the past few months. And I know that there's some continued work going on in terms of continuing to plan for this mini market idea and with the community, and that there's a few community members who've been getting together to work on this. So if anyone's interested in getting more involved and being a part of the actual development of this program or this initiative, then definitely reach out to us. And yeah, I'm just really excited and proud of the team for everything that's been done. So awesome. Sad to have missed it.
Yeah, and we'll hope to do these again. So this is hopefully not the one and only. Our hope is to be able to do these on a somewhat regular basis. So we're kind of at the point where we're starting to plan for what next year looks like, what the rest of the year looks like, and then we'll figure out where it makes sense to have another one of these. So yeah, very excited. Elizabeth, anything else from education and engagement before we move on to different department?
Let's see. We're just looking at what the department encapsulates and looking at developing sort of in conjunction probably with the operations and possibly some of the HR an orientation for new members, which, we're still shaping, but we'll probably include the video from Joelle and the vendor relations bucket, and then just kind of tailoring some slideshow presentations for different audiences. So there will be the new membership orientation, and then we'll be tailoring some educational materials for different types of events and occasions. And looking at kind of consolidating some of the working group research that we did in the outreach and community engagement working group. So we'll probably be looking at that list and kind of creating steps for things like perhaps having a little market at the People's Place, tabling at different places. We have the coffee with the co-op events that we're hoping to continue as part of outreach, which have been really nice. And we've been kind of traveling around to different coffee shops in the city and just opening the doors to members. And we're asking people to bring a friend, just hoping to kind of expand the membership and perhaps just open the door to more folks. And we're starting to look at things like identity profiles, just to try to understand more what people's needs might be, especially regarding this mini market, different lifestyles, perhaps different shopping styles, different goods that people might be drawn to. So that will branch out into vendor relations as well. And we're looking at just sort of the academy of the co-op. So kind of just trying to develop this culture a little bit more and the language around it and more understanding around what a co-op is. And some of the, and that kind of bleeds into some of the skills that we're hoping to help people to develop or to develop in ourselves as well, toward perhaps some more worker ownership.
Great. Busy over there. I love it. Great. Thank you. So we'll move into governance and operations. Kendall, do you want me to do that update for us?
Yeah, you can start off if you want to.
Okay. And then I'll hand it over to you for finance. So the big thing we're working on right now in governance and operations is preparing for our second strategic planning of the year. So this is really going to inform our next year and the rest of this year, November and December, and really what we want to be focusing on. Elizabeth mentioned a lot of great events that we're hoping to do next year. So this will help kind of guide and inform all of that scheduling. There's other, administrative things going on in the background, as always, keeping all of our records up to date, working on software changes, all those fun, kind of boring things that need to happen to make sure, we're running smoothly. So that's all happening. And we're working with Novo as well to get prepared for next year and figure out what funding will look like and kind of get our plans all aligned for that. We've also been working on a few job descriptions. We're hoping to be able to share and post some staff positions next year. So that's a big thing to kind of stay tuned for, especially if you've been interested in doing more work with us, and you really need this work to be compensated. This is probably a really great opportunity for you or other members who may be interested. So stay tuned for information on that as those positions get developed and shared out. I think that's everything, but Kendall, I'll pass it to you to cover anything I missed and then go into finance.
Yeah, thank you. No, that was great. And I would just add that I'm excited for the chance to finally work with Darnell Adams and Bonnie Hudspeth from the Food Co-op Initiative or Firebrand, but also FCI, because we've done a lot of work with them for in like public workshop settings for other co-op development stuff, and I'm really excited to have just some experts come in and really be one-on-one with us in that way, and help us to just put pen to paper and really solidify our new path forward. It's been a bit over a year since we changed direction from 708 Broadway, and I think we've done a lot of good work in this past year to really build back up and realign with our vision and mission. And now we're really doing a lot of good work to reengage the community, and so it is perfect time for us to solidify our path forward in that way. So I think we're really looking forward to that. And on the finance side, we're getting ready to submit our grant application for 2025, which would be coming up. The application deadline would be at the end of this month in order for us to be able to receive the grant come January. So we've been working on our 2025 budget, and we've met a couple times to work on that. And I think Candace already mentioned that we're working with Novo to help us figure all that out. So that's a bulk of the work that's been going on in finance, is taking this year's budget and this year's expenses and updating them for next year, including these new positions for staff, including some of these new initiatives we have going on. So yeah, we're figuring everything out. We're developing our plans and having a good idea going forward into next year. So I think that's basically everything. We also have a meeting with GWI to go over our budget stuff and grant stuff as well, since they are our fiscal sponsors. They also have a stake in our programming, and we just have a sort of housekeeping meeting with them to make sure that our work is going to be aligned with their mission, to make sure there's no issues with our grant money being paid out next year and stuff like that. So a lot of just, I guess in a way, housekeeping and preparing for next year and all the work coming up. I think that's the.
Thank you. And then I'll do an update for the retail department, though Elizabeth already pretty much covered this, but just to do it on their behalf since they could not be here tonight. They are working on exploring logistics for our pop-up shop. Like Elizabeth mentioned, that's going to be at CCE. And there's a meeting happening this week with Drew over there to kind of start working through these logistics. And then they'll be drafting mock-ups for what that shop will actually look like. So things are definitely happening over there as well. Awesome. So honestly, we've kind of made it through our agenda, all of our updates. Anything else from the council before we transition into open forum?
Oh, could I just add that I'm starting to speak with people about, I know it seems a little early, but about garden programming next year. So if anyone is watching this and they have a skill that they feel is related to what we do, you can reach out and I'd be happy to speak with you about a workshop that you might want to teach in the garden. That's all.
Great. Thanks.
Okay.
No, that's important. Thank you. All right, so we'll go ahead and transition into open forum. So if there's any questions, comments, anything like that from membership, we'll give you a moment to kind of get those out there. All right, sounds good. That means we did a good job explaining things. I love that. Awesome. Well, thank you both for joining us tonight. We're gonna go ahead and Karen, go for it. Go for it. You're muted.
I thought the rules were that we had to do everything in the chat, but it's okay. Let me just go ahead then.
Yeah, go for it.
I was one of the first founding members, and I decided to wait to see what was happening. And I want to first of all, compliment Joel and his narration of this mini market proof of concept video. Yeah, his presentation and how not only was it, that it was informative, but it was how he presented it. And that's why I came back tonight. I haven't come to any meetings. And because of that presentation, that video, it brought me here. So, and I also want to know how I go about to upgrade my membership. How would I upgrade my membership? What's the process?
Well, I think that I don't know if I can speak to that. I think that what we're doing is we're just collecting names of people who are interested at the moment and creating a list, and then we're developing the process because I think he's starting to design the operations and amongst us for the store itself. So I think it's just emailing him or emailing the co-op in general and getting your just mentioning that and getting your name on a list so that when we start to launch the operations for the mini market, then we can integrate you into that process.
Okay, so I should send my name
Yeah.
as somebody who I am interested. I think the idea of the mini market and the refillery and the other ideas, I think there's definitely beauty and simplicity. And I think in more simple forms. Radical simplicity is my motto. So I will do that. Also, how much now? How much is in the account, in the co-op account? Because that wasn't mentioned tonight, the budget.
Oh, well, in order to, so we're still coming to consensus on whether there should be an additional fee to join the mini market collective buying.
No,
Oh,
no, I don't care about that. I
Oh.
want to know the budget. I want to know how
sorry.
much you have at this point in your account and what are the expenditures at this point. There was not really a report on that.
Okay.
Yeah, true. We transitioned our finance person, kind of forgot about the financial report. I'm not used to doing that, but I can give me 1 second and I can pull up the numbers.
How is your battery, Kendall?
Bleeding, but still here
Okay.
for now. Okay, so according to our QuickBooks, which it's not our direct bank account, it should be accurate. It should be pretty accurate though. We have currently in our checking account $304,573.30. So around $300,000, and that includes the 97,000-ish that is member equity, so that we don't intend to use. So that leaves us with a bit over 200,000 for the rest of the year. And yep, so we're working our grant application. We're working to get it in so that when it is approved, we'll receive our next round of grant money in January. So right now we're on track to finish out the year with what we have, but we don't have too much extra. In our savings we have $100,000 in $122. And that is an amount that's stayed the same for I think the entire year. We haven't touched that money. If we needed to, we could, but our intention is to keep that.
Is it an interest? I mean, as a nonprofit, is it an interest-bearing account or it's not? The savings account?
It's right now, it's a regular savings account. But we do want to, we did discuss opening like a CD account or like a compounding interest type of account. But again, we recently Sway transitioned off at the end of last month. So right now we're just also transitioning a bit in the finance realm. But I've really taken over a lot of that role, and Candace has been supporting a lot in it as well now too. And we have an amazing bookkeeper, Christine. So things are handled under control, but we also
I
heard
that Novo. I heard Novo was mentioned again. I thought so. There's still a relationship in terms of funding from Novo, or I thought that ended, or what's the deal? He's still his foundation is willing to keep helping this co-op along.
Yep. Yeah. We never cut any ties with Novo. We have a quarterly meeting with them to check in and keep them up to date on our what we have going on. And we're going to meet them this week to look at our budget and for them to support us in creating our grant application to make sure everything looks good going into the grant application. And yeah, I think we have a very strong relationship right now. They're fully in support of the direction we're going in, and they've been very supportive and offered a lot of just like open support. Especially Novo and Kingston, Megan has been fantastic. For us to go to if we need anything, support in any way. So they've been really supportive in that way. Yeah.
Okay, that's good to know, Kendall. Thank you so much.
Awesome. Thank you, Karen. Those were very good questions. Thanks, Kendall, also for pulling that information up for us. That was awesome.
Thank you.
Anything else? I'll give another few seconds here in case anyone else has any questions. All right, I think we're probably good. So thank you, Gerard. Thank you, Karen, for coming. And we'll see you next time.
Thank you so much. Bye.
Thank you. Thanks, Karen. See you soon.